Podcast. It's episode number 82. 82 now. We're going to talk about the one thing that I've practiced and I've done to help me with my sadness. Now, I use the word practice, right? Because that's pretty much, here's the answer. Okay, if you want the answer without watching the rest of this video, which I hope you do, you really have to practice the emotion that you want to feel for the future, right? And this is not from me, right? This was from Joe, I want to say DiVincenzo, but that he's from Nutley, right? Joe Dispenza. I cannot remember how to say his name. I call him Joe D whenever I listen to him. He talks about life. He talks about it. Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza. You all have heard of him. He sounds like a person. He looks like Mr. Furley, but younger. Mr. Furley's from Three's Company, if you guys don't know who that is. And what I took away from him in the time of recovering from sadness, depression, still am in the recovery phase, is like you actually have to practice feeling what it is you want to feel, right? Because what he says is most of us are addicted and or normalized to feeling the way we feel in the past. So for example, something happened to us in the past and now I don't feel good about it. And you just keep thinking about it over and over and over again. And now we're addicted to that feeling or that thought, right? Or we're used to that feeling, that thought, which becomes our normal. Perfect example for me, I was feeling depressed. I was feeling empty and alone. And I started to 100% love that feeling. 100% embraced that feeling because I knew this was going to be part of a long ride, right? And I'm not going to say you can't not feel that way. Like if you feel that way, no, you own it, right? You own it, you embrace it because that's what you're going to feel. The problem is when we prolong that feeling, it becomes a normality where we just think that this is the way we are. Right? Me, I'm angry. I'm always angry. I even said it in one of my shorts video, I think, or even the last clip. It's like, I'm Pete. I'm angry. I'm always going to be angry. But, right, this is how I spoke about myself. Because I've come to terms that this is who I am. But is it? Is that who I am? Am I always angry? Am I always sad? Am I always depressed? No. I'm fun. Right? I'm funny. That's for damn sure. I know that. I'm a pretty funny dude. If you don't think so, you could suck it. Right? I do get frustrated and angry. I am impatient, but I am loving. I'm caring. I am happy. So what you have to practice more of is the feeling of what you want to be. And that's what Joe Dispenza says is like practicing your future self, practicing the emotion. I can't say practice and emotion, right? Like I have something going on here, probably my jaw or inflammation. Is practicing the emotions that you want to feel of your future self, which is pretty spot on, right? If there's anything you take away from this video is wake up and be grateful. Wake up and think of happy things. Wake up and think of whatever it is you want to feel. Because the more you practice, and it's hard, the more you practice those feelings and sending those emotions into the air or into your life, the more those are going to become to feel normal as well. Not saying you're never going to be sad again or you're never going to feel depressed again, but not allowing those thoughts or traumatizing points of your life to keep you feeling that way for a long, long time. It takes practice, and that's why I like that word. That's why I really took to that video, is because everything is practice, right? It's not going to happen in one day. It's not, right? Winning the lottery is 1 in a trillion, correct? So what makes anything else in life different? You're not just going to instantly feel better. And there's going to be a day, you all know if you're watching this video and you're struggling as well, that that there's days that you do feel good. But there's times that you do feel good that you actually don't want to accept that fact because now you may not get the attention that you used to get. You may not have the same discussions that you're going to have. You're now not going to do the same routine that you're used to doing. Wanting change requires change. If you want something to change in your life, it requires you to change. But most people want change, but don't want to do anything to change it. They'll keep doing the same thing over and over again, thinking it's going to work, like really, really believing this is going to work. Perfect examples, people that lost. I always go back to weight loss and fitness because that's what I do, right? And I understand psychology of fitness and weight loss, right? When someone wants to lose weight, what's the first thing they do? Right. I know you all said it in your head. They go on a diet. What diet do they choose? The one that worked best for them in the past. Do you actually think that's going to work? Do you actually think the things you did in the past, your body's not going to remember the trauma that you put it through? It's the same shit, people. When you diet, right, we're going to go very broad. You're 200 pounds, right? A 200-pound person. And you put yourself into a deficit for the first time ever. Your body doesn't understand what's going. You're traumatizing your 200-pound person to become a smaller, maybe 170, maybe 150. I'm not sure. Right? But you put your body through so much stress and so much anguish to get to this point that it's going to remember this, like this beating it's been taking. When before you just feed it whatever it wants. And of course it worked and you probably feel great and you feel better. But your body will remember the things it went through, the trauma it was going through in order to reach 170. Now let's fast forward a year. You're now 210. I am now 210. I need to lose weight. I'm going to do the same exact thing I did last year. And now you do the same thing. And now it stalls at a 5-pound loss. Why? Because the body is auto-regulating itself because it remembers what you did to it last time. There has to be a variable change. It doesn't want to go back to that feeling of whatever it is you did, whether you starved yourself or you went low carb or whatever, you exercised like crazy and did a marathon. It doesn't want to do it again. Your body's made to save itself. That's it. All the other stuff is playing around an equation that may or may not work. Just because it worked for you last year doesn't mean it's going to work for you again. And that's the same exact thing. You got to change it. Right? So if you're 210 now, you want to get back down to 170, which is pretty unfucking healthy at some point, right? Stop yo-yoing that high. You have to change the thing that you used to change before. So don't think that there's only one set way to do something. Don't think there's only one set feeling that we're going to be feeling, because we're not. This is all temporary shit. And I know somewhere down the line, like, I feel good right now, right? Because I made these changes. I changed the way I wake up in the morning. I changed the things I do in the morning. I don't touch this phone in the morning unless it's to put meditation. Oh, it's Sage. Unless it's meditation music, or I don't touch it. I don't answer my text messages. I'll look to see, make sure my wife didn't text me an emergency before she goes to work. Right? And that's it. I'll look. Nope, no emergency. Okay, put it back away. This phone doesn't get touched. I don't go on shit. I put my earphones in. I'll put on meditation music, and then I listen to it. And then I go walk, and I do my dog thing that I have to, right? Otherwise, he'll shit in the floor. We let that happen. Then I'll come back inside and I'll meditate again. Or I'll meditate first if I wake up super early. And then after that, I'll go take the dogs out and I'll go for a nice walk, listening to the same music, if not something that's going to inspire me to feel the way I want to feel. And then I'll go through my morning routine of getting the kids' food ready, to maybe stretching, if I feel up to it, maybe getting a workout in. And that's the problem. That's the thing. You got to change it. and I don't touch my phone. I used to wake up and then I would just go, thank you, Christmas present. I appreciate it. Here's my neon. So people can see me out here in the desert. I don't know. I think it's pretty comfortable. I like a black one though. That'd be cool. Or like a bright ass yellow one. So I keep this one. I just want to pretend like I'm a construction worker out in this. I'm glad you feel better, by the way, D. Thanks for coming out. I'm really glad you feel better because the flu is tough. You know, it is also a challenging thing. But like I was saying, if change requires change, and a lot of us don't want to do the necessary change in order to be better. Let's talk about Dom, prime example, okay? Dom, you always end up coming into these examples because I could relate to the sport and you could relate to, I can't relate to the sport as crazy as you are, but Dom has a whole season, right? He preps for a season and then an endpoint to that season, right? So his training and mini shows lead up to this one big show that he's closing at until they have off season, right? If Dom were to diet and train the way he does during prep or comp training, I forget what it's called, he wouldn't be in good at all. His body needs to take off to adjust. And 5 years ago, Dom trained and dieted a certain way. But in order to become better presently, he's got to increase, he's got to change, he's got to put in more detail into his diet, into his training, into his downtime, into his lifestyle, into his off season. Like if he wants to increase his quads or increase his lats, which if you guys don't know what quads are the front part of your muscle or of your leg, right? The top front, the big, that's my favorite part, the big thigh. And your lats are here, right here. See the muscles right here? It's not just here, right? It's a big part of your back, the largest part of your back. He needs to do something different than he was doing 5 years ago, from 4 years ago, 3 years ago, even last year. In order for him to become better, he needs to change up his diet, his training program, keeping the things that worked, get rid of the things or improving the things that didn't. And that's every year. So it makes us think that if we want to change the way we are psychologically or the way we are emotionally, my off season is going to be about 2 years long. We're changing the whole protocol and aiming the best legs in the world. Can you fucking believe that? 2 years long. Did you read that, guys? Dom said his off season is going to be an estimated 2 years long in order to increase the size of the quads that he wants to have the best legs in 2024. That's a long commitment to be 5 inches better. That's fucking admirable. That's fucking mind-blowing. And at the same time, it's fucking crazy. But you gotta be a little crazy to change. Why? You gotta be this much crazy in order to adapt to the change that you want. Because you're not gonna wanna do it. Your body's not gonna wanna do it. Your mind's not gonna wanna do it. It doesn't wanna be better, right? Your body wants homeostasis, which means it just wants to stay the way it is. But it's gonna take work to do the things that are needed in order to see that change. And what he's doing, he's giving himself 2 years. Imagine you guys gave yourself 2 years to feel happy or 2 years to lose 20 pounds. Imagine if you did that. You would quit in 3 weeks, just like everyone's quitting in 2 weeks on their New Year's resolutions. Please, in 3 weeks, 2 more weeks, I want you to ask the person that gave you their New Year's resolution to let me know if they're still on it. Because it used to be 4 weeks long before they quit. Now it's 3. That's how bad people have zero patience in order to reach or achieve something because they really don't want it. And if you're that person listening to this, I dare you to reverse that thought process and start practicing how you want to feel. when you do reach that goal, right? Instead of just reaching the goal, how do you want to feel? What is the thing why are you reaching this goal? What do you want to feel? What's this goal going to do how's it going to make you feel? Practice feeling that way. How? Find other things that made you feel the same way. Here's a perfect example of what I did this morning. I could have felt sad, as sad as I want to be, and I got sad. Right? But here's the way I thought differently of, I guess you could say, the example. In the morning when I walk, most of the time, I'm thinking about my father. And most of the time, I am crying and asking, why is he still here? And most of the time, I'm crying because I feel bad that he's not here. But more recently, instead of thinking about my father in that space, I think about the fun things that we used to do. And I don't even remember half of them, but I do see pictures of them. Me playing wiffle ball with him and my brother in the park. Me and my brother eating ice cream together with my father. My dad working out at the gym in the morning and me helping him train. And then I still cry. But not because I'm sad, because I wish he was here again. Because I cry because those are happy moments that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. And those were the fun times that we had. Because I could also think about all the bad times that we had, arguments that we've gone through. But that wouldn't do me any good in what I'm trying to do. But if you notice, I changed the way I felt in the emotions that I had. I could have felt sad. Right? I could have felt sad about losing my dad and thinking about him. But instead, I remembered them as the happy moments and the things that made us bond and the things that made us laugh. It's still the same feeling, right? It's still the same tears that want to come out of these eyes right now. But this one would bring me down all day long. Me thinking about all the sad moments or making those moments that we had sad, like a feeling of sadness, would bring me down all day long. And that's where I want to go. Because it feels normal. It felt normal. But instead now, I look at his moments as the happy moments. The moments that I wish I could still have. But I know I do have them inside my heart, inside my mind, inside my soul. So I hope that little example gives you an understanding of how you can do it as well. I don't even know it's a podcast anymore. I'm just fucking talking now. But there's got to be a change in something that's not making you feel right. Like if you don't like the way you feel presently, or you're living off this feeling of the past, like regret and guilt usually, you got to change the emotion. You got to change the way you feel in the morning. And that's why they say, wake up and be grateful. Wake up and say, I'm happy. But the thing is, like, I could sit there and listen to a fucking affirmation video all day long and not believe any of the words it says. But it's better than nothing, honestly. It's better than not trying. But when you start listening to those things and you start saying those things and you use those affirmations, you actually have to believe them. You can't just listen to I am happy, I am great, I am abundant, I am beautiful, I am pretty. But on the real side, you're like, I'm a piece of shit, I hate myself, take a knife and slice my neck. Like, it's got to match. But that takes practice. And that's the main word of today's podcast, is we got to practice being better. Because it's not just going to be given to you. You're not just going to feel good. No matter how much medication that they numb you with, you still have to practice feeling the way your future self wants to feel. And I hope this makes sense to everyone. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you for coming out. J2V Podcast, episode number 82. And it's the first time I didn't say I have booger, but guess what's been coming out of my nose? Boogers. Always boogers. Peace out. Peace out, Boy Scout, Boy Scout. Peace out, Boy Scout. I'll see you later, Dom. Best legs in 2000. Oh, shit, you commented a lot. Hold on. Well, you feeling good, feeling better. Nothing a Belleville wrestler can't handle. Not one bit. Not one bit. I'll see you guys later. And you were more than a Boy Scout. I forget what the level that is, but you're the only person I knew that kept into that shit for a long, long time. Cub Scout, Boy Scout, and then there's like Adult Scout. I don't know what the fuck it's called. I'll see you later. I gotta pick up my daughter.